Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. It's a beautiful Tuesday, and that means another top 5 parlays for college football week number 8. Now, these parlays do have some cross-contamination, so you're going to see some college football, games piled with some NFL games for these parlays. I've taken the time to make 5 custom parlays, different ones, different strategies, and these are really, really interesting. So let's get right into it. Parlay number 1, it's always going to be my safer parlay where normally I'll just bet money lines. Be real safe with it. This is a type of parlay you can put more money onto it to try and win more. I've got the Illinois at Penn State under 57, so I'm buying points. The actual over-under in this game is like 43.5. You can take a look. If you get the under at 57, it's minus 425, so not great odds there. But my train of thought here is it's a parlay. I'm going to be getting the multiplier. It's my safe parlay. Give me something. This Illinois-Penn State game, there's no way these two teams combine to score 57 points. Penn State's just going to want to get out of there with a win. Illinois may not score at all. Their offense is horrific. Penn State has one of the best defenses in the nation. They're at home. It's a noon start. The players not woken up yet. It's like almost a morning start, that noon start time. Penn State starting their backup quarterback. I'm thinking the final score of this game, maybe 31-6, something like that. The under 57. This is a safe parlay. Safer bet, minus 425. This is not minus 110 or anything like that. It is minus 425, but give me the under there. Iowa State Moneyline versus Oklahoma State. I just simply don't think Oklahoma State can continue this streak where they keep winning these games, and I actually think Iowa State is getting undervalued, not by Vegas, because Vegas somehow has Iowa State minus 7. I was like, I'm not taking that. But Iowa State is getting undervalued by the AP poll, by many people, due to the simple fact they were a top 10 team in the preseason poll. They lost 2 games early, but I think they're going to beat Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's offense still does not impress me. It wasn't impressive when they had against Texas. We'll give it to them, but give me Iowa State money line. Iowa State is a 7-point favorite in this game. I'm not betting that. This is just for them to win at home versus Oklahoma State. Ohio State minus 9.5 at Indiana, so this is minus 260. So the actual spread is Ohio State minus 20. I would still take Ohio State to cover that easily. But if we're doing a safe parlay where we want to risk $300 or $400 onto this, we want to be safe with it. Ohio State, there's no way they win by less than double digits. Something fluky happens at the end. Maybe they don't cover the 20, but they'll cover minus 9.5 at Indiana. We've got the Packers money line versus Washington. This game may be closer than people think. The Packers are around a 9.5 point favorite. I saw it was 10. It's come back down to 9.5 right now, but just money line straight up at Lambeau against Washington. Although Washington is due for a good performance. Taylor Heineke versus Aaron Rodgers. Come on. It's not even close. And I'm not even betting the spread. And then the Cardinals money line versus the Texans. Again, this is safe parlays. The Cardinals around 17-point favorites. Just give me a money line. You can take a look at the odds overall. So plus 191, you risk 400, and you would win 762. Just to give you kind of a projection on that. That is my safe parlay. Moving on to my second parlay, the first one, we have Army plus 3.5 versus Wake Forest. I actually like Army to possibly win this game outright at home. They're a really good football team. Wake Forest is due for a poor performance. They're due for a loss. They're 6-0 right now. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to lose a game. Army plus 3.5. If you don't want to go Army money line, just take them plus 3.5. They're a team that loves to run the ball, the triple option, things like that. Lower scoring, shorten the game. Lower the amount of possessions. They could win that game outright at home. That's a noon start time. We've got Oklahoma minus 28.5 at Kansas. Buying some points here, minus 340. That's one of the strategies that I've really enjoyed taking. So when you've got a team like Oklahoma, who's going to destroy Kansas, no doubt, and they're minus 38, which is the actual spread, the way you can easily lose a game like that. Say Oklahoma's up 45-0 early third quarter. They take the foot off the pedal, and then they end up not covering. So this 28.5 point little buffer, sure, it's minus 340, but if you're going to do the parlay to where it multiplies, it makes more sense to where I definitely think Oklahoma's going to win this game by 30 points. Will they win it by 38, which is the actual spread? I don't know. So give me them to cover the 28.5. It is a parlay, so everything multiplies. Virginia Tech money line versus Syracuse. They're 3-point favorites. They're at home. They just came off a disappointing home loss to Pittsburgh, so they're back at home, 3-point favorites. I like them to win. I don't know by how much. It's a parlay. Just give me that money line. And then the Eagles plus 3 at the Raiders. This is another game. I would not be surprised at all if the Eagles win this game outright. The Raiders are a really weird team to where they'll play really good one week, not so good the next week. Last week, really impressive performance against the Broncos. This week, I don't know. I like the Eagles in a road spot to cover that 3. As you can see, this is just a 4-teamer, so plus 694 there. Bet 100, win 693, just some odds there. My third parlay kicks off Utah State Moneyline versus Colorado State. So I believe this is a Friday night game. Utah State is a 3-point underdog. And I was actually looking at this third parlay. I really like every leg of this parlay except for the Utah State Moneyline at Colorado State. I kind of just threw that in there. Moving on, Maryland at Minnesota, the under 65, that's minus 330. So I think the actual over-under in this game is 53. I don't know if that's exactly correct, maybe 53 and a half. But these are two teams. I honestly might take the under if it was 53 and a half. So 65, it is minus 330. But again, take advantage of the fact that you're multiplying these things. You know, you can afford this. Be safer on it. 65. These two teams ain't combining to score 65 points. There's no way. So give me the under in that. I believe that's a 3:30 game. I want to say Ohio State team total over 39 and a half. Okay, this is the lock of the century. If you have $1,000 and you just want to bet one game or one thing this weekend, Ohio State team points over 39 and a half. They've scored 50 in basically half the games of the Ryan Day era. They've scored 50 points in 3 straight games. 39 and a half. They're going to score at least, I think, 49 personally, but that's a complete lock against Indiana. Complete lock. Buffalo team total over 34 and a half. They are taking on Akron. Akron is a little bit improved, but they still have a really bad defense. I think Buffalo gets to around 40 points pretty easily. And then the Seahawks, this is actually the Monday night game. The Seahawks +5 versus the Saints. This is one of those close, low-scoring games in Seattle. Maybe a little rainy, a little dark, whatever. Seahawks +5. I do know the Saints are getting, I believe they're getting Michael Thomas back. But again, Jameis Winston versus Geno Smith. I mean, the Seahawks get back-to-back primetime games after losing Russell Wilson. They've actually had 3 straight primetime games. They had the Thursday night game, they had the Sunday night game, and now they get a Monday night game. What's going on there? The Seahawks every year get so many primetime games, but I'll take them +5. There are the odds there. That one, I do really like this one, maybe outside of the Utah State Moneyline versus Colorado State, but that's kind of carrying the overall odds being where they are because Utah State overall is a 3-point underdog. Moving on to my fourth parlay, Boston College +6 at Louisiana. A bounce-back performance from Boston College here. I think they lose, but I don't think it's by 6 or more. Going to be a close, typical ACC game. These two teams may be a little bit above average. I really do like Malik Cunningham, but Boston College +6, they should be able to cover that. Utah Moneyline at Oregon State. I love this, and I love Oregon State, by the way, but Utah, they were one of my surprise teams in preseason. They suffered 2 bad losses. They've come back. They've won impressively. You take a look at the Arizona State game last week. Before that, they crushed USC, in Southern Cal. So at Oregon State, I'll just take the money line. I think they're 3.5-point favorites, but I don't want to do that. Just give me a money line. Give me them to win. I don't want to worry about it. It's a parlay. I don't want to worry about spreads. Next, we've got Ohio State -29.5 at Indiana +265. So my prediction of this game is Ohio State's going to win 56-24. That's a 32-point margin, so I think they cover it. This is just more of a fun thing in a parlay, right? You buy, you sell a bunch of points, whatever, +265 to cover. They got to win by 30. I think Ohio State could very easily beat Indiana by 30, depending on how well their defense plays. That's really what it's going to depend on. Bengals at Ravens, the over 37.5. So this is a lot more safer. When it comes to, buying points -425, I think the actual over-under on this game is maybe 47. So personally, I love the over, over 47. So 37 should hit very easily. And that's just a 4-teamer. You can take a look at that, the odds right there. Moving on to my fun parlay where I just picked money lines of underdogs and combined them all together. We have the Army money line versus Wake Forest. That was one of the games I talked about. I really do like Army to potentially upset Wake Forest at home in that noon start time. Miami money line versus NC State. Just kind of a vibe on this game. Very interesting vibe. Miami at home, 7:30 game, ESPN2. I'm liking the vibe for Miami to upset NC State. Miami's not better than NC State, but they're at home and it's college football. So things happen. They're only 3-point underdogs. We'll have to see what happens there. UCLA money line versus Oregon. Oregon is going to lose another game. Okay, the past 2 games they've had have been horrific. They lose to Stanford. Last week it was a close win against a subpar team. This week UCLA's at home. I don't think UCLA's that great either, but Oregon is just offensively challenged. They lost their starting running back, Anthony Brown. I'm not buying it. They do have a good defense, but UCLA wins a close one. I think UCLA is 1.5-point favorites in this game. as an unranked team. I think UCLA's unranked, Oregon's ranked like 10th, and they're underdogs. It's pretty crazy. Dolphins money line versus the Falcons. So this is an NFL game. Dolphins at home. I think they're 2.5-point underdogs. I have them winning this game outright. They're better than the record says they are. They're really not. What are they, 1-5 right now? Tua looked good in London. Jalen Waddle looks good. I like that connection. The Falcons really aren't good. And Miami's at home in this game. And then the Bengals money line at the Ravens. Really what this is just value. I mean, if you asked me who's going to win, the Bengals or the Ravens, I would tell you probably the Ravens in a close one. To me, a lot of people are overreacting to the Ravens' dismantling of the Chargers. That's a Chargers team coming West Coast to East Coast playing a 1 o'clock game. And the Ravens really are kind of some weeks they're great, other weeks not so much. I think this is going to be a great AFC North matchup. I think the Ravens win a close one, but I saw the money line Bengals was like plus 265, so I was like, that's just good value at this point. And then I also have the Eagles money line at the Raiders. I already talked about that game. I do like the Eagles a lot to win that game straight up in Vegas. And then there is the 6-teamer risk 10 win 1,700. That's just a fun one I like doing there at the end. But guys, those are my top 5 parlays for college football week number 8, NFL week number 7. A little combining there, a lot of different things, a lot of different moving parts with these parlays. But guys, that is going to do it. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.